I want to ask you about your opponent, Donald Trump.
Okay.
I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any?
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
Hello, fellow patriots. I am so proud to announce our new line of patriotic candles. They come in 5 different scents. They are amazing scents. If you are a candle person, or if you know somebody who is a candle person, then you know we live by candles. And this would make an amazing present, a gift for anybody you know. This is a great product, very well made, lovely scents, and they are soothing and comfortable and patriotic, just in time to light them up for the 4th holiday, just in time to burn for freedom. And that's what we're gonna do. We're going to burn them and light them up for freedom. So go to orlandopatriot.com and get yourself 30% off right now. Hello, friend, and welcome to the Conservative Poet with me, Amania. Today I am covering the Kamala Harris interview that just happened just a little while ago. And I want to say shout out to ABL who live streamed it. I watched it on his channel because I couldn't figure out how to get it done on mine. But so I ended up on his channel and I watched it, and I'm glad it happened that way because I got to sit there and really listen and watch as this thing went down. Like, it was not a live stream. It was a complete and total crap show from what I'm seeing. All they had on this thing was fillers. The actual conversation of Kamala Harris, I think, was less than 10 minutes. Okay, so they started this thing off at 9 o'clock and they were done with it at 9:50, because at 9:50 they handed it over to Abby Phillips to do a panel of reactions from commentators, and that took 10 minutes of the hour. And then during that, before it started, they gave you a preview of what was to come. So they spent about 3 minutes or so with this preview of what's coming. So fillers. And then they put her on for about 5 minutes, and she answered about 3 questions or something like that. And then they went to a commercial. They had 3 commercials within the 40-minute time slot. 3 commercials that lasted about 3 minutes each, right? And then they did more commercials of what's to come in reference to the interview. And then they did a piece of Tim Walz. They commercialed it. And I mean, this whole thing was full of fillers. Kamala Harris actually probably spoke for about 10 minutes combined in this whole thing. So in other words, it was a non-interview, but they have now come out where they have done part 1 and part 2. So we're gonna go over part 1 and part 2. I'm guessing they've removed the commercials from this point, so we're gonna do that. So we're gonna put part 1 on, and I'm gonna react, and then we're gonna put part 2 on, and I'm gonna react. And I made some notes as I was watching ABL do his stream. A couple of things here that I want to touch base on once we get in it. I don't want to go through the nightmare of watching the whole thing, but I know if I try to move this thing around, clip it, and do all that, I'm using a different platform right now, not in Canva where I normally do, because here it's easier to stop and respond, where in Canva I have to play it and then come back and review, and it just takes a long time to do. I like that process, I really do, but for tonight it's already like 11 o'clock, and so I want to just try to get through this before it's bedtime. So let us do that. So we're going to put part 1 on, and I'm going to respond. All right.
Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you so much for sitting down with me and bringing the bus. The bus tour is well underway here in Georgia. You have less time to make your case to voters than any candidate in modern American history.
Yeah.
The voters are really eager to hear what your plans are. If you are elected, what would you do on day 1 in the White House?
Well, there are a number of things. I will tell you first and foremost.
Before she goes on, I really have a problem. I think all of us have the same problem, is that what are you going to do day 1 when you get in? Well, friend, I get that she is not entitled president, and neither is Joe Biden, by the way. I'm just saying. So here you are, already in the White House, already vice president, already have lots that you can do. You can actually help the American people. You can stop the bleeding. You can stop the Biden-Harris bleeding right now by doing a couple of things. You know, you can unleash energy, right? We can drill, baby, drill in this country. That will help the American people. You can do that right now. You don't need day 1 to get that going, right? You don't need day 1 to get that going. You can figure out how to bring costs down. You can talk to the Fed. You can talk to your people. You can figure it out. Why you got to be day 1? Why can't you do it right now? There's a lot that you can do right now to stop the bleeding. So we're going to continue with her. Day 1. What you going to do day 1? What you going to do for the American people day 1? Come on up. Go, go, go.
One of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. When I look at the aspirations, the goals, the ambitions of the American people, I think that people are ready for a new way forward.
Well, wait a minute. A new way forward? Are you a new way forwarding away from Joe Biden? Because from what I understand, you and Joe Biden are one and the same, right? His way is your way. It's the same thing. You're proud of your record with Joe Biden. You're proud of the work that you've done with Joe Biden. You've stood by Joe Biden. And so the American people, a new way forward. What does that actually mean, Madame, Miss Kamala? What does that actually mean?
In a way that generations of Americans have been fueled by hope and by optimism. I think, sadly, in the last decade, we have had in the former president someone who has really been pushing.
Yo, she started moving her mouth not even 30 seconds ago, and already Trump is coming out of her mouth. Already Trump is out of her mouth.
An agenda and an environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing.
I think you have diminished the character of who we are as a nation, because all you people ever talk about is the democracy, that, you know, you're here for democracy, but yet you overthrew democracy, okay, by being put into a position that we the people, not that I would vote for you as a Democrat, you are, that we the people didn't vote for. We never asked for you. Joe Biden selected you as his VP. And then as the coup was happening, he had to come out here and say he supports you when we all know he doesn't. When we all know they forced him to do this thing, right? And you're going to sit there on your high horse and say what? We the people? That you're here for we the people? That day one you're going to do something for the people when you can do something for the people now?
Our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib.
Girl, you done forgot the formula. You forgot wipes. You forgot baby powder from Johnson & Johnson. You done forgot all these necessities that the baby needs, right? You forgot all that.
There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
What about
And why do we have this affordable housing situation, Kamala? You know, why are we in this position across the country, everywhere? Everybody's facing this thing. Affordable housing. Nobody can afford the real estate. Why is that?
you?
Well, I'm excited about this agenda too. As I said, the idea of inspiring America to what can be, and I think many of these things that the Vice President's proposing are things that we share in values. And the child tax credit is one.
Look at her looking at him. That's my emotional support animal right there. I need him to be with me right here tonight. I need him to be with me right here tonight, because that is here my support, my emotional support dog, my emotional support animal, my emotional support. So I can sit here in front of the American people as he, pushes me along. There you go, coach. Get her, coach. Get her in there, coach. Keep her up, keep her up, keep her up, coach. What a team.
We know that reduces childhood poverty by 1/3. We did it in Minnesota to have a federal partner in this. Unbelievable, I think, in the impact that we can make.
You talked about, you call it the opportunity economy. You are well aware that right now many Americans are struggling. There's a crisis of affordability. One of your campaign themes is we're not going back. But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically, because their groceries were less expensive. Housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
At least Dana Bash admits it there, that things were better under Trump. That's what she essentially said in that question. Things were better under Trump. You say you're not going back. The American people may want to go back to where they can afford to buy a piece of bacon, where they can afford to buy an egg, where they can afford to buy a piece of pie. You know, they may want to go back to where gas was not $6, $5. You know, they may want to go back to where it was only $2 or less than $2 to get gas. The American people may want to go back, but you're saying, no, we're not going back.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office, during the height of a pandemic, we saw over 10 million jobs were lost. People, I mean, literally, we were all tracking the numbers. Hundreds of people a day were dying because of COVID. The economy had crashed. In large part, all of that because of mismanagement by Donald Trump of that crisis.
Mismanagement of Donald Trump by that crisis. That's what she got. That's what you got. The COVID that you all put together to win an election, or to cheat. The COVID that you all cooked up, paid for by taxpayer money. Fauci, gain of functions, the Wuhan lab, the COVID that y'all cooked up, all to keep Donald Trump from winning a second term. You talking about that? Come on. Is that what you're talking about? Oh no. This is why I don't like doing it this way.
Environment that is about diminishing the character and the strength of who we are as Americans, really dividing our nation, and I think people are ready to turn the page on that.
So what would you do day one?
Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
What about you?
Well, I'm excited about this agenda too. As I said, the idea of inspiring America to what can be, and I think many of these things that the Vice President's proposing are things that we share in values. And the child tax credit is one we know that reduces childhood poverty by 1/3. We did it in Minnesota. To have a federal partner in this, unbelievable, I think, in the impact that we can make.
You talked about, you call it the opportunity economy. You are well aware that right now many Americans are struggling. There's a crisis of affordability. One of your campaign themes is we're not going back. But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically, because their groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden and I came in office, during the height of a pandemic, we saw over 10 million jobs were lost. People, I mean, literally, we were all tracking the numbers. Hundreds of people a day were dying because of COVID. The economy had crashed. In large part, all of that because of mismanagement by Donald Trump of that crisis. When we came in, our highest priority was to do what we could to rescue America. And today, we know that we have inflation at under 3%. A lot of our policies have led to the reality that America recovered faster than any wealthy nation around the world. But you are right. Prices, in particular for groceries, are still too high. The American people know it, I know it, which is why my agenda includes what we need to do to bring down the price of groceries. For example, dealing with an issue like price gouging. What we need to do.
We're going to go after the supermarkets. We're going to take down the supermarkets. Watch out, Publix. Yeah, Publix is very high. I tell you that. I shop there only because I have to buy certain things. But yeah, they're going to go after Publix. They're going to go after Aldi's. They're going to go after food in the Walmart. That's who they're going after. That's how they're going to fix this.
To extend the child tax credit to help young families be able to take care of their children in their most formative years. What we need to do to bring down the cost of housing. My proposal includes what would be a tax credit of $25,000 for first-time home buyers, so they can just have enough to put a down payment on a home, which is part of the American dream and their aspiration, but do it in a way.
Hold on, friend. Just saying, coming from the housing business, used to sell real estate, knows it well. So you're going to give $25,000, and then what? They go down there, they pick a house that they can't afford, they put $25,000 down and whatever little savings they've got to do their closings or whatnot. And then 2 months later, the mortgage is due, and guess what? They can't pay it. Then what? You know? Then they're what? Back in the hood. They're back on the street, right? They're under foreclosure because they can't afford it. And so you've done nothing. Nothing has happened. You've done nothing good.
That allows them to actually get on the path to achieving that goal and that dream.
So you have been vice president for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
The steps that you're talking about now, why haven't you done them already?
Well, first of all, we had to recover as an economy, and we have done that. I'm very proud of the work that we have done that has brought inflation down to less than 3%. The work that we have done to cap the cost.
What economy are you talking about, Willis? Which one are you talking about? The one that I'm living in? The one that you who are watching this is living in? Which economy is she talking about? That's gone down. That's better. Which one? Because I can't tell it.
Cost of insulin at $35 a month for seniors. Donald Trump said he was going to do a number of things, including allowing Medicare to negotiate drug prices. Was happened. We did it. So now, as I travel in the state of Georgia and around our country, the number of seniors that have benefited. I was in Nevada recently, a grandmother who showed me her receipts. And before we capped the cost of insulin for seniors at $35 a month, she was paying hundreds of dollars, up to thousands of dollars a month for her insulin. She's not doing that
So
any
you
longer.
maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain that when we do the work of bringing down prescription medication for the American people, including capping the cost of the annual cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000, when we do what we did in the first year of being in office to extend the child tax credit so that we cut child poverty in America by over 50%, when we do what we have done to invest in the American people and bringing manufacturing back to the United States so that we created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, bringing business back to America, what we have done to improve the supply chain so we're not relying on foreign governments to supply American families with their basic needs, I'll say that that's good work. There's more to do, but that's good work.
I want to get some clarity on where you stand.
Yo, hold on. Yo, did she just say that we are not going to get our supplies from foreign countries? So I'm going to just go here right here. So first of all, the Keystone Pipeline that you closed down so we couldn't drill here in this country, right? And you shut us down here, but you go to foreign countries, Saudi Arabia, different places to buy oil so you could bring it back to the US because of this here so-called climate change that you're afraid of. It's okay for them to drill wherever they are, but it's not okay for us to drill. So now the American people is paying for that, right? And so that's one thing. That's a lie right there, because right there you are getting from foreign countries. Now, the second thing, our medications. Anybody who lives in this country knows this phone is made in China. This computer is made in China. This This mug is made in China. This light is made in China. My bracelets come from China. My American flag come from China. Everything comes from China. Our medications, our pills, food comes from foreign countries. And that country is our enemy. Our enemy. So we rely on our enemy for things like medication and food. So who are you telling that you're not going to be relying on other countries for anything? Give me a break.
And on some key policy issues. Energy is a big one. When you were in Congress, you supported the Green New Deal. And in 2019, you said, quote, "There is no question I'm in favor of banning fracking." Fracking, as you know, is a pretty big issue, particularly in your must-win state of Pennsylvania.
Sure.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking as vice president.
That was a straight up fake smile. I made it clear that I'm not going to ban fracking. Fake ass. You's a faker. And everybody knows it.
I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
In 2019, I believe,
It's so funny. That's all she has. And she's done. I didn't ban fracking. I'm not going to ban fracking. And that's it. That's all she got. Let's see Dana push back a little.
at a town hall, you said, you were asked, would you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking on your first day in office? And you said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes. So it changed in that campaign?
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
I kept my word, and I'm going to keep my word. She just told you that you didn't keep your word. And it's so interesting how they can get it like this, and then she don't push back and say, no, but that's not what you're saying. You're saying that you didn't, or you're gonna push back on fracking, yes, but you really still stand by it because you just said you did.
Did you change that position at the time?
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed. I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against what is a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act, what we have done to invest, by my calculation, over probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, investing in a clean energy economy. What we've already done, creating over 300,000 new clean energy jobs. That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking. In fact, Dana, I cast the tie-breaking vote that actually increased leases for fracking as vice president. So I'm very clear about where I stand.
And was there some policy or scientific data that you saw that you said, oh, okay, I get it now?
What I have seen is that we can grow and we can increase a thriving clean energy economy without banning fracking.
Okay. Madam Vice President, Governor Walz, thank you.
So, as you know, the prosecutor and all of this, you never saw the benefit of fracking before? You didn't see that? Is that why you were so against it? Or you saw it, but you were still against it, even though we know that in order for this country to thrive, we need to drill, we need to utilize the natural resources that we have in the ground. So you knew this? So Dana's question is, well, what miracle was it that showed you the light that fracking needs to happen? Well, I'm going to stand by my values. Okay. So her values has never changed. They're always the same that they were before. So I'm thinking, she's again putting this show on for the American people to try to snowball us once again. But the truth of the matter is, she does not believe in fracking. And day one, if she were to get back in, she would do exactly what Joe Biden has done. And this is how they will continue. At this point, They're just trying to snowball the American people to say, you know what? Yeah, she's no longer against fracking. She's for fracking. And so places like Pennsylvania, would vote for her when it's BS. And that's what I'm getting from them. It is BS. So we're going to move on to part 2 of this dog and pony show.
Another issue, big one, is immigration. As Vice President, you were tasked with addressing the root causes of migration in southern countries and
Northern part of Central America.
the northern part
Yeah.
of Central America that affects the southern border of the U.S. During the Biden-Harris administration, there were record numbers of illegal border crossings. Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions?
Well, first,
So I like the way Dana danced around without saying, illegals or this influx of so many people coming in, this crisis that we have at the border where millions and millions and millions have come in. Hell, who knows? Maybe billions. Who knows? Because you see those lines of people coming in every day. Could be billions. But she tap dances around it, and without calling her the border czar, because she was tasked with being the border czar, the border police. That's what she was tasked with. And under her guidance, this is what happened. This is what happened. Billions of people, if not, has come in under her watch as the border police.
first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president, has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including historic investments by American businesses in that region.
What investments? The bus company, Greg Abbott hiring buses to come. They put the bus company to work, because you surely didn't hire bridge builders or wall builders. You didn't hire people to build the wall. You didn't hire businesses to barricade the holes out there. No, you didn't do all that. No, that's not. Who did? What kind of businesses happened out there? What kind of businesses was done there? I'm curious to know. You put the water company to work. You put the food company to work, because you was out there feeding those people and drinking those people and watering those people. Curious.
The number of immigrants coming from that region has actually reduced since we began that work. But I will say this, that
Reduced? Reduced? I mean, how do you sit there with a straight face and tell the American people that it's been reduced? People don't believe you because you lie. You're straight up lying. Nothing has been reduced. These people are coming in here. Oh, all right, let's go.
Joe Biden and I and our administration worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border.
I don't even want to hear this part again, because we all know that this bill that she's talking about did not do America any favors. It was a Band-Aid on the problem, not fixing the actual problem. Okay? It would do nothing, because again, these people would still be coming. This was no solution. It was a Band-Aid. And if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. You're all about sending billions over to support and procure other people's borders. But when it comes to this, to our own border, you want to put a Band-Aid on it. No, we're not going to take it, because it wasn't a good bill for America.
And through bipartisan work, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, a bill was crafted, which we supported, which I support. And Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border. And because he believes that it would not have helped him politically, He told his folks in Congress, don't put it forward. He killed the bill. A border security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large part because they knew they were working around the clock and 1,500 more agents would help them. That bill would have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any community in America that has been devastated by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and a pain that they've experienced.
So you would push that legislation again?
Just I bring this up right now because yesterday I was the governor had a what do you call it, a press conference, and where we talked, it was about crime. I'm gonna make a video about that maybe tomorrow or the day after, about this press conference that I was with the governor yesterday. So the talk was about the border and the fentanyl. I find it interesting that Kamala Harris can sit here right now and talk about this bill. For all of these years, Americans have been dying with fentanyl coming across this place. Fentanyl is in everything. It's in candy. It's in food. It's in pills that you wouldn't even imagine. They are killing people left and right. These things are coming from China. Well, they'll be made in China, then they're coming through the border, but yet you've never cared enough. I think of about 300,000 thus far. I don't know if it's this year or in the last couple of years have died from fentanyl. Children. If you all wanted to fix the border, it would be fixed. And that is both sides of the aisle. Republican, Democrats, the uniparty. They don't want it fixed, but Trump does. And I cannot wait for him to get back in so he can close the border for real and remove so many of these people.
And I just want to
Not
ask
only
about
push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
just one other question about something that you said in 2019 when you first ran. There was a debate. You raised your hand when asked whether or not the border should be decriminalized. Do you still believe that?
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally, and there should be consequence. And let's be clear, in this race, I'm the only person who has.
I can't stand this human being. There was a video that she put out that, well, she didn't put it out. It was pulled out of her wretched past, of how she's about conversations about the border and how she does not believe that these people are criminals. I don't believe that they're criminals. And she cackles. I don't believe that they're criminals. But now we're going to enforce our laws. How is it that as you were the top cop in California, in these places, you didn't enforce the law unless it was locking up Black people for marijuana? That's when she enforced the law to lock up the Negro, right? Because she's a red dot Indian, and she was locking up Negroes that look like me, right? From the red dot, right? The red dot, was locking up the Blacks that looks like me. I'm just saying. These are facts. These are facts. And so you are here stating that, oh God, I've lost my train of thought. Anyway, that's enough rambling. I'll let her go because I've lost my thought.
Prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. I'm the only person in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws, and I would enforce our laws as president going forward. I recognize the problem.
Generally speaking,
you never enforced any laws. Like I said, the only laws you enforced was locking up the Negro for marijuana. But look at San Francisco. Look at what's happened to it. Look at California. Look at what's happening to it. It's overrun with crime. Why? Because soft on policies, because you want progressive prosecutors. who's not going to lock people up. They're going to, come around. Let's have mental counseling. Instead of putting away criminals, we're going to have mental kumbaya counseling. And that's what you've done. And that's what you want to do to the country, which is going to destroy this country. We're almost there at a point where we cannot return if we put somebody like you back in. America will be finished with these progressives and their progressive laws and not following the law where millions and billions of people can come in, where criminals are running around rapid, robbing, stealing, killing people left, right, and center. They're trying to destroy this country. It's exactly what she would do.
How should voters look at some of the changes that you've made, that you've explained some of here in your policy? Is it because you have more experience now and you've learned more about the information? Is it because you were running for president in a Democratic primary? And should they feel comfortable and confident that what you're saying now is going to be your policy moving forward?
Dana, I think the most important and most significant aspect of my policy perspective and decisions is my values have not changed. You mentioned the Green New Deal. I have always believed, and I have worked on it, that the climate crisis is real, that it is an urgent matter to which we should apply metrics that include holding ourselves to deadlines around time. We did that with the Inflation Reduction Act. We have.
I'd like to know, Kamala Harris, are you holding your Indian people accountable? Because they are the second largest country with that contribute to this situation of the climate, with how they run their country. Your country, India, is the second largest. China, the ones you're not afraid of, the one you're going to do business with, the one you are calling to be your partners, China, they're the number one when it comes to all of this. I don't see you holding China accountable. I don't see you holding your own people accountable. But Americans are going to have to suffer because of this, right? I got to suffer. My kids got to suffer. My family's got to suffer. My neighbors got to suffer, right? But the people out there in India who's causing so much to this climate and this climate situation, they're okay to do that. The people in China who's adding more than anybody else, they're okay to do that. But you're going to cripple the American economy. Red dot. Red dot.
Set goals for the United States of America and by extension the globe around when we should meet certain standards for reduction of greenhouse gas emissions, as an example. That value has not changed. My value around what we need to do to secure our border, that value has not changed. I spent 2 terms as the Attorney General of California prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, violations of American laws regarding the illegal passage of guns, drugs, and human beings across our border. My values have not changed. So that is the reality of it. And
I'm telling y'all, she's saying her values has not changed. As they like to say, dog whistle. I believe that she is telling you, she's talking to her people, her progressives. I'm still on task to do exactly what we're supposed to do. My values have not changed. I'm still right where I'm supposed to be. My values hasn't changed. I'm going to do exactly what I believe in. My values haven't changed. Sure, I'm going to say something here, there, but my values, really, it hasn't changed. If you're listening to her, she's telling you exactly that. She's still holding on to her progressive policies and her progressive beliefs, and her values has not changed.
4 years of being vice president, I'll tell you, one of the aspects to your point is traveling the country extensively. I mean, I'm here in Georgia. I think somebody told me 17 times since I've been vice president in Georgia alone.
How many times you been to the border? You've been to Georgia 17 times, and you're not even from Georgia. How many times you went to Texas? How many times you went to the southern border? I'd like to know. I'd like to know the answer to that question. You've been to Georgia 17 times, but how many times have you been to the border? 0, 1, 2 times, 3 times. No, she ain't been there 3 times. She been there once, 1 time. If she been there. And from what I hear, it was just sort of a stop and go setup thing. It was like driving and kept moving, you know? But she been to Georgia 17 times.
I believe it is important to build consensus. And it is important to find a common place of understanding of where we can actually solve problems.
On that note, you had a lot of Republican speakers at the convention. Will you appoint a Republican to your cabinet?
Yes, I would.
Anyone
Yes,
in
I
mind?
would. No one in particular in mind. We got 68 days to go with this.
We call them never Trumpers. We call them rhinos, Republicans in name only. Some of those traitors that you had on your podiums at your Democrat circus convention, circus show, you know, free abortions on demand right there in the parking lot. So yeah, that's set up. So no, we're not interested in that. We're not, right?
Election, so I'm not putting the cart before the horse, but I would. I think it's really important. I have spent my career inviting diversity of opinion. I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences. And I think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
I want to ask you about your opponent, Donald Trump.
Okay.
I was a little bit surprised. People might be surprised to hear that you have never interacted with him, met him face to face. That's going to change soon. But what I want to ask you about is what he said last month. He suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any?
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay. Let's talk about some foreign policy.
So she doesn't want to go there. So you could explain that your mama is Indian, your daddy is Indian, except that him and your mama met in Jamaica where he was doing work out there, but he's still Indian, right? And you are an Indian. Again, there's pictures of you, the red dot. I'm just saying, that's who you are. You are a red dot Indian, right? That's who you are. And it's interesting that you embrace being a red dot when it benefited you in California, when there was a whole lot of red dots there that could vote for you. And you embraced it. That's who you were. And now, being that you're trying to do a national thing, California can't get you there anymore. Those people can't do that because now you're looking to take over the nation. So the red dots aren't going to be everywhere. They can't do that. So you're looking for the black Negro. You're looking for the Negro. So now you are Negro. And that's what he is saying. And shame on Dana because she knows that. But of course, they're not going to entertain it. They're going to frame it in a way to make Donald Trump sound terrible. That's the actual truth. You were a red dot Indian. That's how you portrayed yourself when it benefited you. And now that it doesn't benefit you, you've taken off the dot and now you've stuck on the black Negro dot and you're now the black dot. They'll do anything. She's a chameleon to change herself into whatever she needs to be in order to present herself so she can get what she wants. So she used to be a red dot Indian, but now she's not. She's a Negro. Born, bred, and raised Negro in India.
Issues that would be on your plate if you become commander-in-chief. President Biden has tried unsuccessfully to end the war between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. He's been doing it for months and months, along with you. Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change. But let's take a step back. October 7, 1,200 people were massacred. Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. And we have got to get a deal done. We were in Doha. We have to get a deal done. This war must end.
And in the meantime,
and we must get a deal that is about getting the hostages out. I've met with the families of the American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
but no change in policy in terms of arms and so forth.
No, we have to get a deal done. Dana, we have to get a deal done. When you look at the significance of this to the families, to the people who are living in that region, a deal is not only the right thing to do to end this war, but will unlock so much of what must happen next. I remain committed since I've been on October 8 to what we must do to work toward a two-state solution, where Israel is secure and in equal measure, the Palestinians have security and self-determination and dignity.
Oh, I've been sitting here. Okay, so that was it. So they cut it short. The question that I'd been waiting for, that I'd gone through all of this for, was the question that they asked about Joe Biden. And they did not present that question. So I did pull a short one. Let's see. Trafficking. My values have not changed. The strength of a leader. All right, maybe that's the one. All right, let's see.
One, I am so proud to have served as vice president to Joe Biden. And two, I am so proud to be running with Tim Walz for president of the United States and to bring America what I believe the American people deserve, which is a new way forward, and turn the page on the last decade of what I believe has been contrary to where the spirit of our country really lies.
But the last decade, of course, the last 3.5 years has been part of your administration.
I'm talking about an era that started about a decade ago, where there is some suggestion, warped I believe it to be, that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down, instead of where I believe most Americans are, which is to believe that the true measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up.
Well, I guess that's that, friend. So there was a part where they asked her about Joe Biden, and she did not answer the question. She went around the question, but the basics of it was, about his cognitive decline. Like, why weren't there real questions asked about his decline to her? Like, what did you know? When did you know it? You've been with him for 3.5 years. You're sitting in there with him for hours upon hours upon hours, doing whatever the work is that y'all do. How is it you stood in front of the American people day in and day out? Even the night of the debate, she had the interview with our friend at CNN. What's his name? I can't think of his name. Anyway, she had the interview with him, and she said then, right then and there, Joe Biden has been doing well. He's a great president. This was just a 90-minute. You can't judge him on this 90-minute debate. Look at the last 3 years. Look at everything he's done. He's strong. He's able. He's capable. He's all there. I mean, she went to bat for Joe Biden the night of the debates, right? Lying to the American people, knowing that Joe Biden has never been here. He hasn't been here in years, not even since he was running for president. Again, they propped him up then, and they continued to prop him up. Those are the kinds of questions that I would have liked to have heard asked. But in any event, that, friends, is what they had. Again, dog and pony show, and they broke that down into 2 8-minute segments. The whole thing was 40 minutes long, and they had three 3-minute commercials and a bunch of fillers. And so they tried to pull it out to make you think that there's something there. There was nothing. She really gave us nothing. This, for me, if I was watching this and I wasn't already decided, I'd be like, you know what? This person is not who I want to be dealing with the Russians. This person is not who I want to be dealing with the Chinese. This person is not who I want to be dealing with Vladimir Putin. And this person is not who I want to be dealing with Benjamin Netanyahu. This is not the person I want to be dealing with the Hamas killers. This is not the person, you know, because she is not strong on anything. And she is not the person I want. This woman can barely keep her thoughts together. She can barely, I'm surprised she wasn't cackling so much tonight. I'm very, very surprised. She was not cackling as much tonight. She cackled a few times, but not a lot. You know, this is not who we want. And if I was undecided after watching this, I'm definitely decided. And the decision is no Kamala for me. No Kamala for me. No Kamala for me. And we're going to end it there, friends. Thank you so much for taking the time and staying with me. Man, I talked more than Kamala Harris did, right? This thing is now 58 minutes long. I talked more than Kamala Harris did. Anyway, guys, I will see you in another video. I'm going to end this thing, and I will end it by saying once again, thank you. And we will. Oh.
Hello, fellow patriots. I am so proud to announce our new line of patriotic candles. They come in 5 different scents. They are amazing scents. If you are a candle person, or if you know somebody who is a candle person, then you know we live by candles. And this would make an amazing present, a gift for anybody you know. This is a great product, very well made, lovely scents, and they are soothing and comfortable and patriotic, just in time to light them up for the 4th holiday, just in time to burn for freedom. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to burn them and light them up for freedom. So go to OrlandoPatriot.com and get yourself 30% off right now.